Afternoon. Morning, I should say. Tony?
Martin, if you could update us on any injuries, any concerns you have after today's session?
Yeah, just the same as yesterday. The James McCarthy has done a little bit of training on his own and effectively wouldn't be playing tomorrow. And I think that I'd like to give Kieran Clark a few extra days as well too. So.
And how much of a concern is James McCarthy for the tournament?
No, I don't think so. I don't. That's my view at the moment. I don't see that being a problem. He might be fit for Tuesday. If he doesn't play Tuesday, then it might be a bit of a concern. But
That's
School by there.
who's that?
Don't know. All phones off, lads, yeah?
Do you want to start again?
Sure. Are you concerned for McCarthy's fitness for the tournament now at this point?
No, I'm not.
So you'd like him to play on Tuesday perhaps, though?
If it's at all possible. But he has played a lot of games anyway for Everton. If it is a niggling injury that needs a few extra days to get over, so be it.
So if McCarthy and Clark can't play against the Netherlands, it's quite likely that you can play your favoured 11.
We've got a lot of players. The two games there'll be a mixture, I think, of players that I think you might need the first game, and John will play. Hasn't started a game for a couple of weeks. I think he needs the game. He will definitely start the match. Have a look at it. I think that we'll play it by ear. But we have the two games, and I think that it'll be a combination of things that we will start the game and obviously hope that other people getting involved in it.
Shea didn't train yesterday but was back out there today. Is he going to start tomorrow?
No, I mentioned that John would start because he's sitting beside me here, and Shea isn't sitting beside me, so I'll have to wait.
But you're happy with his fitness?
I am. I'm happy with his fitness at his club.
I know the game in Cork is on Tuesday now, but for the majority of the fans, it's the same. And you'd like to the fans.
I think that they will really stretch. I think they will cause us plenty of problems. Our job is to try and cause them a few when we have possession of the game for us. And probably even though it's a friendly.
And to be starting the game and looking forward to the Euros, I'm sure.
Well, look, the big thing is that make sure everyone we enjoy games coming up, put in a good performance if possible. But ultimately making sure you try and win the games. Look, it's everyone wants to be a part of it, and the whole country forward to it, not just everyone in the hotel in Castleknock.
Towards the end of the season?
It's one of those things that when I picked up the knock and then the lads got in and did their stuff, and thankfully we stayed in the Premier League. That was the ultimate thing. But obviously it's one of those things when the competition for places is key, and that's what we need to make sure performance stay high. So that's something I'll be looking to do if you get the chance to play.
Martin, you mentioned that John will start tomorrow. What else can you tell us about your starting team?
No, I can. I think that I haven't told the players yet who will start in the game, and I think it's as I mentioned to Tony, I think it's a combination of things. It's players that maybe haven't played for a little while for a start. I think it's a really good game to play in. I think both of the games are good, and it's just getting back to what I said yesterday. I think it's if the players, I think John might agree with me, if players think that they have an opportunity to go onto the field to actually make an impression, whether it's this game or Tuesday night, I think that they would want to take that opportunity.
Assuming you're in the squad, do you feel yourself these two games could be very important for you because of the fact that you haven't been matching with Sunderland for the last few games?
Well, look, it's always the case when you play, you want to play well, but ultimately when the squad is announced, everyone knows they're fighting for that. When you're named in the 23, when the final squad is announced, then it's the battle to get into the 11. So it's a case of wait and see. But look, I've played plenty of games throughout my career for club and country to know that I'll be ready if needed and when called upon.
Just regarding match fitness,
no, fitness, thankfully, I've never been. It's never been too much of a problem for me throughout my career. And obviously, when you're not in the team, you're doing extra work and different things to stay on top of things, making sure you're ready.
Martin, 4 days in, is there anything or anyone that has surprised you in terms of their form or their fitness over the opening stages of the camp?
No, I think that I would naturally get a better idea when the games have been played, and no, but you're picking up things from training. You're picking players. I think it's just a natural thing for players at this moment want to just impress, and but really the best way to impress is just do the things that you're really good at, and don't try and overcomplicate it. Just get on with it, and I think that's what the players, for the most part, are trying to do. Obviously, there are a number of positions, I think, that we said before. If I think around this room, we'd pick 90% of the players in that 10%. If you feel that you're in that 10%, well, I think that's the time to just impress as much as you possibly can, but effectively do your own game, and that might be good enough.
Martin, when it comes down to that, sorry, Philip Quinn here, when it comes down to that final 10%, will loyalty or your gut instincts be the deciding factor? I
think there'll be a mixture of things, yeah. I think that's somebody might just overwhelm us in these two games and say, right, okay, doesn't matter whether you've played or not before, you're in the side because you've played brilliantly in one of the two games, and that might be the deciding issue. Naturally, I think you tend, boys who have done so well for country here in the last 12 games, the competitive matches, and they have put a heart and soul into it, and that also plays a part. But we'll see.
Martin, Aidan McGee, we spoke about his contribution to the campaign. It was always too. Does his experiences at club level over the past 2 seasons put his place in the squad at risk, or at least under question?
Well, I think that if you're asking Aidan about playing games, yeah, I think he's been a bit disappointed the way the season has gone for him. But again, he went out in January with the Euros in mind. He went out on loan. He could have sat back and maybe played the occasional game for Everton, but it looked as if he wasn't going to get a look in. I think he'd only started in I think it was against Barnsley way back in the game. So by January, maybe the writing on the wall was there for him. So from that viewpoint, at least he made the effort to get out and play. So for whatever reason, he's not finishing it at Sheffield Wednesday, but at least he's here with us. And again, I reiterate, he does have that ability to go past players and create something for you. He looks all right. We did 1v1s, 2v2s yesterday, and he looked pretty good.
Martin, are you content at this stage to keep an open mind in terms of who your final 23 will be?
Yeah, I think as each day is going on, I think it's closing a little bit, but it's but again, the games are there exactly for that reason. If, for instance, if it's down to that, again, I go the final time I would say, if I was a player and I was looking and the manager was saying to me that I had an opportunity either tomorrow evening or Tuesday, still to be told that regardless of how I did, that I might have a chance of getting in, I would take that all day long. take that opportunity, and I think that the players are happy to go so, or to do so, even if they're being told late on Tuesday that they haven't made the squad.
May I ask you about Jose Mourinho, and just briefly, expected to be named by Manchester United this week. What kind of manager do you think he'll be there?
At Manchester United, well, he'd be splendid because he's got a splendid track record.
John, can I ask you the same?
Yeah, I'd echo the exact same sentiments. I think he's
What
had
kind of
a fantastic
manager do you
record, and I
think?
think he's going to a fantastic club, and it should be a good combination.
John, can I take you back 100 years ago? You were on the cusp of maybe going to the World Cup at the time. It was you were a young fella, but
How many years ago?
14. Can you remember what?
They're too long in my company. You know. I just exaggerate for the sake of it.
Can you remember what that was like at the time as a young player? And you know, a few players are going through that experience now with Martin ahead of this tournament. And would you have any maybe advice for them, or kind of empathise with what it's like to be kind of having something so close? But
yeah, look, well, I wasn't even in. I hadn't come in to even train or meet up with the squad before the 2002. So it wasn't as if I got as in very close to going. But as the manager said, if a manager is telling you that there's still a possibility of some places available, you'd be delighted all day with that, because then you believe what you're doing in training, what you possibly may get to do in a match, can get you in that 23. And even then, if there was a last-minute injury, which you don't want, but you've impressed, then the manager's mind is made up for him. He's got a ready-made lad ready to go, who's shown the right attitude, even if he has been just told he's not made the 23. But he's had the application during the week, and the desire to show what he can do. The manager knows he's ready to go.
Martin, can you assess where Darren Gibson is at the moment in terms of, it's been a roller coaster season from, you spoke about it before, sort of on and off the pitch. Can you just assess where he is at the moment?
No, I think that Darren has, as you say, has had a difficult time this season. Hasn't played the number of games that he would like to have done. He got back in towards the end of the season, played a few games, and then got left out again. But he's here. He wants to impress. He wants to, if he thinks there's an opportunity here to try and make the 23. I think the very fact that he's here and willing to try and do so, that's great news for us. So again, fine footballer, and has has a bit of quality about him. I think that Darren, it's just the number of times that he has played over the last couple of seasons would be a concern.
John, bring you forward 96 years from David's question. This is likely to be a very different squad from the one that went to Fulham 4 years ago. Do you sense a similar atmosphere, or is it different sort of ambitions this time around? Yeah, well, look, ultimately, when you get to a major tournament, the first aim, when you make the 23, you want to get out of the group. That's the key. But I think the atmosphere and the enthusiasm around the group has obviously just got stronger and stronger throughout this campaign. And that's something that is obviously very similar, but it's probably gone up a notch as well. And as you said, it's a different squad, different management, and there's lots of different elements involved in it to make you believe that it's obviously going to be very different.
John, also 4 years ago, if you remember, Giovanni, he named his 23 immediately, although he made a couple of changes, and he even played the same starting 11 against Hungary as he picked for Croatia, and he said he was going to do that. Martin seems to take a different view. Is that better, or is it just different to the way it was 4 years ago?
Yeah, it's obviously just different. It's obviously the case of when there's 2 games coming up and the manager wants to give lads the chance as well. And it's always been the case when the manager's had the chance to see younger players or see lads who have come back from injury, whatever the case may be, that opportunity has been taken, and it's a case of giving everyone a fair chance.
Martin, on Tuesday next, when you submit your squad of 23 to UEFA, would you include a player or two who may not be completely fit at that point, in the belief that with medical observation should be okay come the first game? Or would you say if a player isn't fully fit by Tuesday, they won't go?
Well, I think the case in point that Tony mentioned is James McCarthy, for a start. If James doesn't play in any of the 2 games, but feels that that's all it is, the scans, as we've said too, have been pretty clear. So yeah, I think that James has done enough to be in the 23. He's been a major part of proceedings, and that would be a type of situation that I would certainly look at, and feel, well, if this is just an injury that just needs a little bit of extra time, and he has played a lot of games for Everton. I was watching him recently, where he played very well against Watford, scored a goal, and then scored another goal. Just in recent times, not just that, but his overall performances were fine, and he's had a run of games. Then perhaps maybe those extra couple of days might do him the world of good. That's the situation. But what I wouldn't like to be going in is with 2 or 3 players whose fitness has been a concern, not just over a day or 2, but over a period of time.
John, I know you didn't play in the game, but just before Euro 2004, we played Holland in Amsterdam, beat them 1-0, big win for us. How pleasing is it for us to be playing them now, the fact that we're going to the finals and they're not? Do you derive any sort of pleasure from that, the fact that we're going and they're not?
Well, look, I'd obviously be more concerned about ourselves. It's just great that you're going to a major tournament. That's why you come and play for your country to go to these events. But look, they're going. Lots of countries bigger and more powerful than Ireland and Holland throughout the years have missed out on tournaments at some stage or others, and it's just a case of the players and the tough qualification campaigns and strange results in campaigns too. But ultimately, it's just about ourselves, and thankfully we've got there. I wouldn't be too concerned. I think Holland will be okay going forward in the future. They've got some fine players in their squad.
Martin, how much time have you been spending this week analysing Sweden, Belgium, Italy?
Well, I haven't imparted that particular knowledge to the players yet. I haven't done so, but I would know their squads inside out myself. I thought that what we would do is that we would get the Dutch game out of the way, give themselves a lad, maybe even Belarus out of the way, but overall, yeah, once those 2 games are gone, then some of the lads enjoy the DVDs, and some of the lads don't enjoy them, and those lads who don't enjoy them won't be there.
Martin, just on the players that aren't here, Westwood, Myler, Kevin Doyle, have you been talking to those players this week? And I'm thinking in particular of Kevin Doyle, who's going to be, it seems, making a pretty long trek back from America for what could be just a couple of days.
That's okay. That's all right. Kevin is, if he's happy to do so. And honestly, this is getting into it. If you are asking me, would I want to do if I'd been asked years ago as a player for Northern Ireland that I had a chance to make the squad, and that I had to, as I say, travel from the other side of the world to come and play in a game to prove that I could do so, I don't think that's a problem. I don't really think it's a problem. I was asked the question the other day about, what will we do if the young players get bored? Oh, it's so sorry for them, Really, they're playing in a competition that comes round every 4 years and doesn't come round every time for you every 4 years. So go for it. Get bored in a month's time.
Martin, if Shea plays for Ireland again, his will be the longest international career for an Ireland player. Can you speak a bit about him, his durability, his longevity in terms, and why you brought him back into the fold when he made himself available?
Well, he came back. Yeah, I think that he felt that he didn't want to go out in the note that he had already discussed some time ago. But Shea, when he looks back in his career, I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted with it. Really, and he's been terrific for the Republic of Ireland. Some really major games. He's been terrific at club level. He's a very fine player, like everything else. Time doesn't stand still for people. You do get older in this life, as I found out, and so players do go on a bit. I would imagine this would be his final time. But he's been excellent around about the place for a start. I'm not saying that that is everything. In fact, it's not. You still have to have ability. But he's been terrific. John will tell you. He's been a great help to the other goalkeepers. He's been very encouraging all the way through. And he's, as I say, he's good around about the place. That helps a little bit. It doesn't make it. It doesn't mean your place is certain just because you're good around about the place. I could get my daughters to be very good around about the place. Might not make it, you know.
Two questions, please.
John, you played with quite a few Swedes in your career. I was talking to Sebastian Larsson the other day. Will you be talking to him, Jesper Blomqvist, Bojan Djordjic about the Swedes before you meet them in Paris?
Well, he's actually getting married today, so I won't be talking to him today. But
Who is?
Seb, Matt. Yeah. So no, obviously, I know Seb very well. He's a fine player, fantastic set piece taker as well, and he's one player you'd have to definitely keep an eye on him. But I'm sure I'll be in touch with him maybe over the next few days. But he's look, and I'm sure. But I think you mentioned Bojan. I see he's doing lots of stuff on the TV and different things. So I'm sure I'll be in touch with him too. But look, I know, as he said, I've known one or two of them throughout my career, and they're very good players.
John, follow up here. In terms of longevity in the Irish jersey, there's probably nobody who's given more service to you at all levels. 20 years you've been playing for your country. You've indicated in the Star newspaper today you might continue after the European Championships. You hinted that you certainly haven't closed the door on going forward. Could you maybe just go a little bit further on that and give us an indication? Is it your intention to carry on after the Euros? And if that being the case, would you be happy to fill a role that Robbie has done in terms of being a supportive person to come off the bench if needed and be around the place?
I think that what I was trying to kind of say was I'm not going to get involved in anything like that to say this is the last tournament or this is this or that. I'm just enjoying the next game as it comes, and that's all I'm going to do going forward. And it's a chance. We've qualified for a major tournament, to enjoy that occasion and to grasp it and look forward to it, and whatever happens then, happens then.
Okay. Thank you very
much. Martin, you're not going to do this squad on Saturday night,
No, I won't tell you on Saturday night, you know, but no, not seriously. I said that to the boys yesterday, that this is what I would do, and we'll wait on Tuesday. Okay.
Martin, will Gary Rogers be in the squad
For tomorrow night's game, there's a possibility he has just performed brilliantly out there again, and I may do so.
Okay, thank you very much.
Which way are we going?